Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Michaela Hutchison. On my channel I like to talk about a lot of things: veganism, baby related, parenthood, motherhood, minimalism, zero waste, all that kind of stuff. But today I wanted to do something a little bit different. This was not planned at all. This is very spur of the moment. I was just going through my files on my computer and I came across some of my old college papers, and I haven't read them because I decided it would be maybe interesting to film it. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, okay, this is a final draft, so this is like the real deal. It's just titled Narrative, so I don't really know like what exactly we were supposed to write about, like what the prompt was. Oh my god. I wrote about China, my trip to China in this. I don't know why this might be really embarrassing. My trip this past spring to China will stick with me for the rest of my life. With little research on what China was like and having not read the What You Need to Know Before Visiting China guide, my grandparents and I forged into the unknown. Onward. My laptop literally like made like a weird sound. I don't know if you could have heard it on the camera, but it just literally just like cut out. And it's not almost dead or anything. It was just getting good. We just started. Everything went well on our arrival in Shanghai, and it was only the second day that we began experiencing difficulties, one such as finding out we needed to bring our own toilet paper to public restrooms. Yes, oh my god. I heard about this, but I did not know that this was like an actual thing. I did not know that restrooms in China did not have toilet paper. There was toilet paper at a hotel, but like out and about, it didn't matter where we were at. Like rundown areas, very popular touristy areas, it didn't matter. Public restrooms did not have toilet paper. But yeah, like I did not know that that was like an actual thing. So if you ever go to China, bring your toilet paper if you want to wipe your butt. But the most problematic obstacle we faced was our money situation. We were on our way to Shanghai Wild Animal Park when my grandmother decided that while we were already out, we should purchase our train tickets from Shanghai to Beijing, something of which I thought they already did before we left America. I seriously thought they had already done that. I did not know that they wanted to do that while we were there. I thought that was already set and done. So we arrived at the train station to try and purchase our train tickets, but even with the language barrier, it was still very clear that they don't take credit cards. My grandparents only carried a little cash to help us through the first couple of days, and the rest was on their credit card. So when almost all our money was on a credit card and they don't accept credit cards, we began to panic. We needed these tickets. Our plane to America leaves from Beijing, and if we can't get to Beijing, we're doomed. We shook it off and decided to purchase our tickets once we stopped by a bank to take some money out. For now, it was goodbye attractions and hello bank searching, which was a lot harder than we thought. We spent almost half of our time in Shanghai trying to find a bank that would let my grandparents take our money out for food, transportation, attractions, and especially these train tickets, but with no luck. So dramatic! We had to watch what we ate as we were so limited with money. On our third to the last day in Shanghai, we found a bank that would take our credit card. It was a Chase Bank and their credit card was a Chase. We were so excited and our hearts were filled with joy. We would finally be able to visit most attractions and we'd be able to eat anywhere in China we wanted and not just select restaurants that only took credit cards. But when the machine asked for a PIN number, my grandparents realized that they had forgotten it. I fucking remember that. We were sitting outside of like this bank outside, like I don't even know where it was. My grandma and grandpa, like they're going back and forth, like trying to like freaking figure it out. They tried all the numbers it could be, but to no avail. I remember my grandmother laughing as she walked to a bench saying, "Well, I guess we'll be stuck in China forever." I remember her saying that she'd like literally plop down on this bench. It was scary because without these train tickets to Beijing, it could have been true. This was not happening. China's a really lovely place with its interesting people, beautiful landscapes, and rich history. But we just weren't prepared to stay in China forever. Our only other option was to check all our wallets, gather all the Chinese money left with all the American money we had, convert our American money to Chinese money, and hope it was enough for all three of our train tickets. And magically, it was. Because we only had like a little bit of renminbi or whatever the Chinese dollar is called, I think that's it. And then we had like some like random, you know, United States American dollars in our wallet. So then we had to go to like this bank to convert our United States dollars into the Chinese currency, and we just just had enough for all of ours. We then traveled back to the Shanghai train station to purchase our desperately needed and long-awaited train tickets to Beijing. Though we were still limited to the attractions and restaurants that took credit cards, we were able to breathe and enjoy our last days in Shanghai and our trip to Beijing. My trip to China will stick with me for the rest of my life because it was so hectic yet memorable. If there's something I've learned on this trip, it's to do research on the place you're traveling to and make sure to always carry cash and not rely on your credit card, especially when traveling to a different country. It will make your trip a lot more enjoyable. Guys, there was a lot more in-depth detail to that, but yeah, that was a very interesting trip. All right, so that was paper number 1. Oh my, this paper, we were supposed to write, this was like another very casual paper. We had to think about the worst movie we had ever seen, like just our worst film, a movie we just did not like. And we had to write about it, and we just had to write about what we didn't like about it. The worst movie I have ever seen in my entire life is National Treasure with Nicolas Cage in it, and I don't remember why I hated it so much. We went to the theaters to see it like way back when, and I just could not stand it. Like the acting, just the storyline, like I don't know, I hated that movie. I'm getting chills thinking about that movie. I cannot stand that movie, but I haven't seen it in so long. I've only ever seen it that one time. You know, I don't remember enough to write about it. So I went to the teacher. When you watch a movie and it's the worst movie you've ever seen in your entire life, you typically don't watch it again after that. I was like, can I write about a movie that I do like, but just parts of the movie that I don't like? And she's like, yeah, you could do that. So I chose Harry Potter, Order of the Phoenix. And if you guys are Harry Potter fans, you probably know, when I say Order of the Phoenix, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, who I am talking about. Freaking, let's all say it in unison, Dolores Umbridge. I cannot stand her. Okay, anyway, for anyone who knows me, I'm a major fan of the Harry Potter series. Even so, there is one Harry Potter film that I find has many irritating moments. In the Order of the Phoenix, why am I calling them irritating moments? In the Order of the Phoenix, one irritating moment I find is in the beginning when Harry and his cousin Dudley are in the non-magic world. They're being attacked by Dementors. Underage wizards are not allowed to use their wands outside of school, but Harry uses magic to defend himself and his cousin anyway. Harry is then taken to a hearing at the Ministry of Magic to determine whether he is allowed to go back to Hogwarts, and with Dumbledore's help, Harry is cleared and permitted to return. Once the hearing is over, Harry goes up to thank Dumbledore, but he walks away looking as if he has nothing to do with him. What I find so irritating about this situation is that even though Harry broke school rules, he did what he had to do. If he didn't use magic, he and his cousin could have died that night. Also, it is curious as to why Dumbledore was acting as if he didn't want to help Harry. He and Harry are close, so it just threw me off and didn't make any sense. I remember that, and I think there's probably more to it than I realized. Like, it just always threw me off how, like, Harry goes up to thank Dumbledore, and then he was just, like, kind of just, like, storms off. And it's like, why is Dumbledore getting his panties in a pretzel? From here on out, the rest of the irritating scenes happen to be because of the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Dolores Umbridge. After she becomes the teacher, she changes the school rules. Not only are the rules any of her concern, but they are completely ridiculous. Boys and girls were not allowed to be within 6 inches of each other. Any students found in the possession of the Hogwarts newspaper would be expelled, and boys were to keep their hands outside of their cloaks, to name a few. She also interrupted Dumbledore's start of the year speech and later tried to remove him as head of Hogwarts. I find these instances to be irritating because she is interfering with the daily happenings at Hogwarts and trying to make everything all about her when it is not her place. She also believes in extremely harsh punishments. For example, she sent Harry Potter to detention because she thought he was telling lies about Voldemort returning to Hogwarts. In detention, she had him write, "I must not tell lies," on a piece of paper using a blood quill, which cuts the same words written into its victim's hands as I write. What is further irritating is in one scene she says, "You know, I really hate children." This makes no sense because if someone hates children, then why would they go and teach at a school where they're surrounded by them? It makes no sense, right? Like, if you don't like kids, why are you trying to teach at a freaking school? and then bitch about it. Though I do not hate this film, nor do I think it's bad, I find many things in this number of the series to be irritating. It's one of those things where I'll have a Harry Potter movie marathon on a weekend, and when I get to the Order of the Phoenix and think about watching Dolores Umbridge, I think to myself, oh great, it's this one. Okay, let's see what we have next. Oh my god, okay, so I just found one. I remember this one to be one of my favorite papers at that time. This wasn't like a paper for like a large part of our grade. Like it wasn't like a major paper. This was more of just like a fun assignment. We were supposed to describe a person in a way that by the end of the paper you could feel like you knew that person a little bit. Like if that even makes any sense. We basically just had to describe a person. This was January 28th, 2015. Oh, that's Amelia's birthday. Well, not her birthday, but same date, different year. But yeah, so I wrote about my dad. Let's see if I like this paper as much as I did back then, and let's see if it's an accurate description of my father. It should be, or else I don't know why I would have wrote it, but my father is a kind, honest, and very industrious man. He's a workaholic, some might say. He begins his morning before the sun, bright and early at 3 a.m., and doesn't come home until 2 hours before midnight, and continues Monday through Friday. Unlike his own father, my father is not a fan of the pleasures a cup of strong black coffee brings, but has gotten used to giving Starbucks a visit every now and again to get through his long commutes home. My father is a heavy-set man in his 50s who gets excited for Andy Griffith reruns, has a passion for airplanes and science, and given the opportunity, can never refuse a freshly baked glazed donut from Krispy Kreme. He's a tall, cleanly shaven 6'2" man with hair ending above his ears. Each morning he brushes his wiry hair back into a pompadour Elvis wave, emphasizing the glistening streaks of silver throughout his once jet black hair. His photochromic lenses cover his gentle, deep-set hazel eyes, in which are perfectly placed on his oval-shaped head. What is that? Like, this is getting like too freaking descriptive. But I guess that's what this paper was. It was supposed to like get like really descriptive, really trying to like paint the picture of like the person you're writing about. His skin is covered with sunspots from refusing to wear sunscreen even in scorching 120-degree weather. That is so true though. Like he'll be outside for work in like crazy temperatures and he'll come back like so sunburnt. I'm just like, bro, where was your sunscreen? He carries around a pungent aroma from his aftershave, trailing a scent of mahogany teakwood behind him each day. His daily wear consists of either a floral Hawaiian-style button-down t-shirt or a plain polo with a small pocket placed over his left breast. His black slacks contain a crisp trouser crease, leaving a sharp point at his knee. Finishing off his look is a dark brown belt, almost too tight to fit around his waist. I make my father sound like he's like very fucking out of shape. My father is well organized and makes sure everything is in his place. He laughs at his own jokes and still gets an excessive amount of excitement for Christmas. He speaks with a confident yet relaxed tone of voice and sighs periodically just because he feels like it. Sometimes he does do that, like he'll just be sitting there at like his the dinner table or whatever, and he'll just like just let out this like sigh, and I'm just like, you frustrated? His years are catching up with him. He is slower in his pace, and though there are more things he encounters that could anger him, he never furrows a brow. I know not one person who has something negative to say about him. To me, my father is someone who is kind and generous, looks at the positive things in life, and is someone I aspire to be like. I think that one's good. But yeah, so thank you for reading those with me. Let me know if you stuck around to the end, which paper was your favorite. I upload videos every Sunday. Let me know what you would like to see next if you have any video suggestions. And yeah, I will see you in another video. Bye.